Today on Toy Shiz, find out why this Mezco 1/12 scale Green Goblin is the absolute last Green Goblin that you will ever need to buy. And so now there's not much to talk about with the packaging, but here is everything out of said packaging. It is quite the spread, as one would expect, with a Mezco 1/12 scale figure. This Green Goblin, being the classic Green Goblin, comes with every single hand you could ever want. Pumpkin throwing hands, razor sharp bat tossing hands, electrical zapping hands. You name it, we got it. Most are going to go into a little baggie that Mezco does provide. But he does come with several. The power, the ability is already intertwined into the hands, and I absolutely love that. Did you know that the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, used to throw ghosts? Yes, everything under the sun. They just drew it into the comic strip. Who cares? But in this one panel, he used this ghost to incapacitate Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Kind of suffocated his fire ability. That's pretty interesting. Also, he used to throw frogs. Not just regular frogs. This is a toy frog, of course. And, well, not just any toy frog. If Spider-Man, let's say, was swinging through the city, he could throw this frog, and then it would blow up and sever his web line, of course. But still, that is a nice pack-in. You're paying attention, Mezco. That's a nice nod and a wink to an old-fashioned Green Goblin. And then you have a pumpkin bomb throwing hand. That is amazing. See, this is stuff I have always wanted to see with a Green Goblin action figure. Not only that, you get a dozen pumpkin bombs, and each one is a little bit different. Some are very similar, some are the same old, but they do have different expressions. And it's not important. You didn't have to do it. But you did it, because every time someone draws the Green Goblin, they're a little bit different. And this one has a smoke effect, and this one has a fire effect. I like the smoke bomb. The other one reminds me of something Demogoblin would throw. But in either case, it just looks awesome with it. So I am stoked to have this, and he looks awesome holding either. Now, not only do you get the plethora of pumpkin bombs to launch, but you get the sparky, zappy finger bolt from his Green Goblin gloves. I love it. It's straight out of the comics, and it's even straight out of Spider-Man, the animated series. Well done. You also get some razor-sharp bats. Now, this is a Green Goblin thing. It's also a Hobgoblin thing. You get one that has the effect. This actually can come out of the glove, so that's a nice touch. You can hold the razor-sharp bats. Either which way, there's a dozen hands to do it. And then you got the one that you can toss out with the effect. The glider. Now, let me just say, this is one of the finest Green Goblin gliders that has ever been put into toy form. This is perfection right here. And if you'll notice, the exhaust ports, they are removable. That's always a nice touch. They have a nice blast to a smoke. It's beautiful. And yes, underneath, you can see that the wings can go down, and also the wings are articulated, so if you don't want them down, you can move them up. And that personifies several different ways that the Green Goblin's glider was shown over the years in the comics. It's weird. Everybody draws it a little bit different. You also have this right here, which can be pulled out. It's a way for Norman to kind of hold on to his glider in case these clasps don't work out for him. That's very cool. That's a nice touch. Each of the clasps work perfectly. It also has pegs for the feet. It's a beautiful way to keep him on the glider. The glider, get this, also has the blast for the engine in the back. That's awesome. It's removable. So whether he's soaring around New York or he's stationary, Mezco's got you covered. If you don't want the portholes showing, you even got these little discs that will slip in and cover that up. You can't ask for something more. This is perfection right here. They've covered all the bases. Thank you for reading old school comics. I very much appreciate it. And speaking of old school comics, look at these head portraits for the Green Goblin. The green, the purple, the expressions. Now, I'll be honest. I would have loved to see ones that are a little bit more comic book personified, a little bit more black. But I digress. I like it. Even just the smiling, wild, wide-eyed one. That works for me too. All the expressions you can want, they've done it, and they've given you the mask. Yes, Norman Osborn, when he pulls his mask off, can hold his own mask. That's amazing. Now, one nitpick, and it goes either way, because yes, sometimes the eyeballs are there, but I often see them as just lenses, so I would prefer just white eyes, because Norman's eyes would make the pupils. But that being said, you can have Spider-Man or any other character holding the Green Goblin mask, telling everyone that this represents the dark, evil, ugly side of their lives. Norman's not having it though, because once he's unmasked, he is furious. Now, this head portrait, I love it. I would have liked a little bit more red in the hair. That would have been very cool. But like I said, holding the mask, he's just angry. That is awesome. I love that look. But then you have the psychotic, why did you take my mask off, Norman Osborn head portrait? He's got one wild eye with the eyebrow going up, the people's eyebrow. And that's when you got to incorporate the pumpkin bombs. Spider-Man's got his mask. He wants it back. It's just awesome. Now, to actually look at the Green Goblin, the figure, the articulation, overall, again, very impressed by this figure. Mezco, your initial photos of this really didn't do it any justice. I'll tell you, once in hand, much better. But there are several things that I like to see, including the fact of they got the Merce on the right side. You can swap it, but they got it right. The Merce is bendy wire-ish. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. And you can put pumpkin bombs and everything inside his satchel, and its magnetic clasp close, and there you go. This is insane. This is a fantastic Green Goblin. Now, this head portrait is more just the neutral one. He's just smiling, plenty of articulation in the neck and the head. It's two separate features. The costume does not hinder the articulation. I'm actually impressed by this. I do have a few Mezcos, but sometimes you'll notice that you're worried about the material ripping, stretching, something like that. The mesh for his green parts of his costume works pretty well. Cannot say the same for the articulation in the abdomen, the waist. We'll say it seems to have an upper diaphragm or a crunch in there. It doesn't really work, but the legs work extremely well. And that is very beneficial because with the knees, which are double jointed, along with the boots and the articulation within the feet, you need that to properly situate him on his glider. So I will tell you, there is no problems with the legs, the feet, nothing like that. It's more so the upper body. You won't be able to do much with it, but the arms work in throwing and holding pumpkin bombs, getting into his satchel. That's just cool. I have always wanted to see something like this. Mezco, you've done it. This is absolute old school Green Goblin comic book perfection. Just in seeing him hovering there. Maybe he's busted into Aunt May's bedroom. He's circling the joint, careful not to wake her up. Gonna go check out Peter Parker's other co-conspirator. And even if you want to leave the exhaust ported in, just kind of hovering there. Yes, you get the stand and it holds him nicely and he's just having a ball doing so. And what I like about the Mezco stands is that it's powerful enough to not only hold up the Green Goblin, but a very damsel in distress Gwen Stacy. And we all know where this is going to go. But I'm happy to say if you got the Marvel Legends one, it works very well. In fact, I would say overall, between Marvel Legends to Mezco for this Green Goblin, that works with these characters. And I do like the Mezco Spider-Man. He's okay, but in all honesty, the recent animated Spider-Man from the Marvel Legends line seems to work a whole heck of a lot better. So definitely use him for the Spidey in your displays. So overall, that's going to wrap it up for my quick look at the brand new-ish for, we'll say 2024. I've had this for a while, but been waiting to do a video on him. The Mezco 1/12 scale Green Goblin. I love this thing. The accessories make a character like this to really dig deep, to pull out the frog and the ghost and have multiple pumpkin bombs and then the finger zapper and everything else. The glider is awesome. All the different ways you can display that, the masks, unmasked or otherwise. I'm freaking stoked on this. This is well done. Highly recommend it. One of my favorite figures of 2024. But you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below. Let me know. Let's talk everything Mezco. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most important, remember, while I don't collect a lot of Mezcos, I would make exceptions for certain characters, as you can clearly see. So Hobgoblin, that's on my list. Mezco, let's see you do an awesome Hobgoblin action figure. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.